Dear students, today we are going to start chapter number 15, that is introduction of graph. So here, what is graph? The graph shows numerical facts in visual form so that they can be understood quickly, easily and clearly. Thus, graph are visual representation of data collected. Means if you have certain data, so how you can just represent that in easy manner so that it will be easy to understand and that will be clear. So that will, the graph is the way to represent that data. At first we will know about the graph. Graph has this type of crossed lines, means we can say graph is a grid in which some horizontal and vertical lines are there, and we just draw one horizontal and vertical line to show or to represent given data. The horizontal line is called x-axis and vertical line is called y-axis. These are also called ordinate and abscissa. We will know about that later. And the point of intersection of these two lines is called origin and generally represented by O. Students, you have to note down all these basics of the graph. Now, abscissa. Abscissa refers to the horizontal axis, that is x-axis, of a standard two-dimensional graph. You can see this is a two-dimensional graph. Two-dimensional means one here you can see is vertical and another is horizontal line. It shows two dimensions, one is x and one is y. So here the x, if you have any point like this x and y, to represent any point you just denote that by x comma y in graph. So the point x is called abscissa here and y is called ordinate. Whatever is the value of that, we will know further more about that, how we can represent the points here. Now abscissa refers to horizontal axis and ordinate refers to vertical axis, means y-axis. And what is origin? The origin is the point where the axis of the system intersect. These two are axes where they are intersecting or meeting each other. This point is known as origin. Now graphs can be of many types. At first we will know about bar graph. Bar graph, what does it mean by bars? Bars means the rectangles, vertical rectangles, or we can say which have particular length. These are called bars. So here a bar graph is used to show comparison among categories. It may consist of two or more parallel vertical or horizontal bars. Here you can see the bars will be parallel. They can be vertical or horizontal. Sometimes you can see this kind of bar graph also. So this is horizontal bar graph. Now this is what it is represented here is vertical bar graph. Here the birthday of student by month is given and how many numbers of student have birthday on different months. So here we can see in January between 2 and 4, that can be 3, and February, March, April, May. So it's very easy to compare, to visualize the data and just state one conclusion or to find answer. Here if I ask you on which month maximum number of students have birthdays, so your direct answer will be on June, because we can see the bar of June is the longest or the highest. And on which month the minimum number of birthdays are falling, so that is on August. So in this way it makes reading very easy, it makes to read data very convenient. Now bar graphs can also have double bars. You can see here to compare we can make two bars also. Modes of transport and number of student, expenditure in rupees. If and this blue one is for boys and green is for girls. Now school bus. In school bus the expenditure of boys is 75 rupees and expenditure of girl is about 135. Here walking expenditure of boys is about 120 and expenditure of girls about 60. So this is the comparison between boys and girls expenditure on various modes of transports. So this can be also the representation of data. This is called double bar graph. Now here pie chart. Pie chart, or we can say pie graph or circle graph, because here we represent the data in the form of circle. Now a pie graph is used to compare parts of a whole. If it is whole, I am saying this much are the number of students somewhere and there are some parts of it. So what these parts are showing here? Given pie graph shows the percentage of viewers watching different types of TV channels. So this was the number of viewers, and out of this 25% like to watch sports, 15% news, 10% informative news and something kind of information, and rest of these means 50% like to watch the shows related to entertainment. So this shows the part of whole, or we can say this is directly the pie graph or pie chart or circle graph. Now next kind of graph that we can know about here is histogram. A histogram is bar graph that shows data in intervals. You can see here. Sometimes you may feel that histogram and bar graph are same, but no. There is main difference. If I represent the data in the bar graph, so I was just telling these are months and these are number of students. Yes. So here on January this much of birthdays are there, on February this much of birthdays are there, and March this much of birthdays were there, like that. But here you can see a histogram is a bar graph. It is also a kind of bar graph, but that shows data in intervals. There should be data given in the form of intervals. It has adjacent bars over the intervals. So here you can see the bars will be adjacent, एक दूसरे से चिपके हुए बार्स होंगे. These will not be like this kind of separated bars, ऐसे नहीं होंगे. ठीक है. Now you can see here weight 40 to 45, 45 to 50, 50 to 55, 55 to 60 and 60 to 65. So this much of data is given to us. Here we can see how we can represent it. Now 40, we have to represent numbers here. Here we have written 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Here we can start from 1 to 3, but here we see the numbers are bigger and multiple of 5s. So why don't we write like this? Yes. So instead of starting from 10, as we know the data is starting from 40, so we have started from 40, but इसके बाद कहीं पर भी jump नहीं होना चाहिए. That should be continuous. 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70 and so on. Okay. So between 40 and 45 there are 4 students. It is 4. Then 45 to 50 it is 12. So in this way we represent data. I think you must have noticed this particular sign here. This is a zigzag line, or you can say a zagged line. It represents, it has been used along horizontal line to indicate that we are not showing numbers between 0 and 40. As I told you, data is starting here from 40, so we directly have started here from 40. We haven't written here 10, 20, 10, 15, 20 and so on. So for this we have just make this jagged lines. Whenever you just don't write the numbers which are in between, so you have to make that line here. I hope you understood that. Write all these things because these are very important, this concept and all these. Now line graph. As the name depicts, here we have to draw lines on the basis of given data. Now whenever you watch matches or something like data of share market and all, so you see this kind of graph. A line graph displays data that changes continuously over the period of time. Means it is the given year and profit. किस ईयर में कितना प्रॉफिट हुआ? इन 2006 the profit was, here it is given $1000 means $4000 का प्रॉफिट हुआ. इन 2008 $6000. In 2000 I think here it will be some year, and in 2010 it's $8000. In 2012 it's $14000. In 2014 it's $14000 again. So this is the way to represent in the data in line graph. You can compare the data also in the same line graph whenever you watch matches. So you see this is the score or this is the way of progress of a particular team. तो इसके बाद अगर दूसरी टीम का दिखाना है, so they show like this. अब ये सारे आउट होने लगे, so bar graph or the line graph will go down. So in same graph paper you can show more than one line graphs to compare. So this much is for okay, some concepts are also there. This much graphs we have to know this time, and here are some important points regarding all these. A bar graph is used to show comparison among categories. Yes. A pie graph is used to compare parts of a whole, and a histogram is a bar graph that shows data in intervals. Now second point is, a line graph displays data that changes continuously over the period of time. Now line graph, which is whole unbroken line, is called a linear graph. Means if you are just making a line graph and you see that in particular time the data is gives us that point, and in another time it is that, then this, then this, so you will get a straight line here. So this kind of graph is called linear graph, and sometime also it should not be broken, like in this year you have got this, then this year you have got this, but in this interval there is no reading, there is no data, and now you are just getting this kind of graph. So in this interval you see that line has broken. Yes, so this is not included in linear graph. Now for fixing a point on graph sheet we need x coordinate and y coordinate. Okay, let me just recall you what was x and y coordinate. You can see here, if you represent something in graph, you see like this, these are the points given. Okay, yes, nice. Now you just see here, if I want to represent in class 4th I have got 4th position, in class 5th I have got 2nd position. So this can be a representation. Means for this x and y the required points will be, in class 4th I have got 4th position, so 4, 4, class 4 position 4, and similarly class 5 position 2, so class 5 position 2, so that will represent the required point x, y. By joining these 2 points you can make line graph. So that is it for today, students. I hope you all have understood the concept very well. We will start the exercise after completing this one, means from tomorrow onwards. Thanks for joining. Have a good day ahead.